I think it's time for another chick update, don't you? They're almost chickens at this point, not chicks. Look at how goofy they look, though. I'm telling you, they go through this strange stage. Look, this guy has most of his body feathers, but no feathers on his head. Oh, what this dude's doing. But they are definitely living the good life. Our giant duckling is continuing to be a giant. So they need to move outside. And they will, just not yet. We've been derailed by a couple of life events. Shocking. Please don't fall down. Thank you. But again, it's not like they don't have plenty of room where they are. And, you know, last night it actually got cold. So it was nice that they had the heat lamp and weren't outside. I'd be worried about them if they were outside last night. But they're reaching the stage where they're mature enough to start to think about moving outside. Certainly the duckling, who doesn't have feathers at all yet, but has enough body mass that they can be outside. They've grown up a little bit beyond their baby feeders and waterers, so we've had to put some extra waterers in, mostly because the duck makes an absolute mess. The chickens would probably be fine with just one little waterer, but right now they have a duck with them, and the duck, you know, manages to empty out a waterer every couple of hours. So, at any rate, these guys are hilarious now because they really are starting to come into themselves, come into their personalities. There's definitely a few roosters in here, but I think, and again, it's really early for me to be saying this, but I think I actually have more hens than roosters this time, which is shocking. And again, these are my personal flock, right? These are just guys I'm growing out. One, for the fun of it, and two, because, you know, I like to refresh the flock every so often. And I'm happy with this crop. I'm happy with this grouping. I think there's a nice blend of colors. They're good-looking birds so far. I know that's hard to tell when they look as ridiculous as they do right now, but you know, they're coming in nicely to their feathers. Their legs are, look at how fluffy his legs are. So they're showing all the right signs, which is, of course, always fun. And only about, let's see, one, two, I'm going to say, looks like maybe 5 of them are showing combs. That would indicate that they're an early sign that they're probably roosters. Of course, it's way too young for me to tell for sure, but that's my guess. Meanwhile, if you've noticed, I'm recording without a microphone, so my audio is probably a little different. Maybe you heard more peeping. And I can hear the birds alarming outside, so we're going to take a little walk and see what's going on here. Why are we alarming? Is there anything going on? No? Nothing? So my guess would be something went overhead and it's long since gone. But yeah, when I'm in the barn or doing anything, I'm always listening to make sure that if the turkey or the guineas are alarming, that I'm here. I might as well check on it, right? It's the same thing if I'm inside. I can hear them from in the house too. And if I hear them really alarming, I'll come and check. More often than not, it's because a fox is walking by. And as long as he continues to walk on by, we don't mess with him. It's when they stop to visit that we encourage them along and, you know, remind them that this is not their place. Well, so there you go. You know, I tell you all the time that this is unscripted and things happen as they happen. Yeah, I had to stop what I was doing, or at least stop what I was focused on, and come check because the birds were definitely sounding the alarm. But there's literally nothing out here. I know it's not a fox or a ground predator because with all the dogs out, if it were, you know, something like that, the chase would be on. So that's not it. It's not deer because they don't alarm for the deer. And again, the dogs would be on alert. So it was probably a hawk or something that went overhead. And I'm just not seeing it because it was probably long gone before I came out, which is exactly what we want. So all I did, just as an FYI, right, is one, I look at where the birds are. They're congregated right here at the front. So that tells me that whatever the threat was, it was somewhere on the side that I'm looking at, right? If the threat were on the other side of the pond or on the other side of the coop, that's where they would be. They would be alarming over there. I also note that none of the other birds are upset or bothered in the least. So even though the turkey and the guinea were alarming, the chickens are still out. The ducks and geese are still out. The ducks are on the far side of the pond. The geese are in the middle. So all of that tells me that whatever set them off was not concerning to the other birds. And again, since it wasn't something, almost definitely not something on the ground. So if it were something on the ground, then the ducks and the geese would have been in the pond instead of around the pond. And everybody would have been clustered toward the middle, toward the pond, right? Away from the edges if there were a ground predator or something scary. So it was probably overhead. And as I scan the tree lines, I'm not seeing anything. Certainly I can't deter, well, it's not easy and I don't try to deter any hawks, eagles, vultures, etc. But certainly if they were perched and lurking above the pond area. Are you having a blast? You're having a blast? It is playtime. And they are, I don't know what kind of game they're playing, but they're playing. So anyway, if anything were lurking in the trees above the pond area, I would just casually walk through, and generally speaking, no matter how high they are up in the trees, if I walk below the tree, they'll move on, and then they head out to the woods and they can hunt there, or they hunt the pastures. We've actually caught a vulture eating something in the pasture once, so that was fun. Not catch as in like physically capture, catch on video. So if you didn't see that one, go hunt that one down. That was a good one. I won't remember to link it because, you know, that's just who I am. Had a blue jay just come in, so like, you know, I can see. Let's see if we can get him on camera. There he is. Oh, and he's gone. So, you know, there's enough open space here that even as things fly through, I can spot them and keep an eye on things. But yeah, it's just me checking on the birds if I hear them. Now I have to go release the goaties. They've had their breakfast. Denali, as always, is not allowed in to have breakfast because she's on a diet. And just so y'all don't come after me, it's not that we're starving her. She has plenty of pasture to eat. What we're preventing her from having is grain and hay stretcher, which is the supplement that I give to the goats. And that is because she pushes everybody out of the way, eats it all, and you have become huge, haven't you? She's learned. She's obviously not mad about it. The first few days we took it away, she was mad about it. But it does mean that I have to sort of hang around for a few minutes while the girls are closed in the stall there, having their breakfast. She's out here. We get a little bonding time that way. And she has dropped a pound or two. Certainly not nearly enough, but it's working. It's slow, but it's working. I probably would need to exercise her somehow, and she's not gonna jog with me, unfortunately. So anyway, listen, I appreciate you hanging in through that. Sorry about the distraction with the birds, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. And as always, until next time, I've got work to do. Bye for now.